Let me be brutally honest with you right from the jump. If you're a brand new 3D product visualization artist in 2026, no client list, no industry connections, maybe 6 months to a year of serious practice under your belt, the internet is not going to make you feel good about your chances. You're going to find Reddit threads full of veterans saying the market is oversaturated. You're going to see LinkedIn posts from experienced artists complaining they can't find work. You're going to watch AI demos where someone generates a photorealistic product render in 45 seconds and feel your stomach drop a little. And if you let all of that noise shape your decision, you might quit before you ever actually start. Here's what I want to say before anything else. I have looked at this market carefully. Not from the outside, not based on vibes, not based on what's trending in comment sections. And what I found does not match the doom and gloom narrative at all. Is it easy? No. Is it competitive? Yes. But is there real, legitimate, growing opportunity for a new product viz artist who approaches this the right way? Absolutely yes. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why, and more importantly, exactly how. Here's what we're covering today. First, I'm going to give you an honest picture of where the product visualization market actually stands right now. The real data, not the fear, not the hype. You deserve to make decisions based on what's actually true. Second, I'm going to show you why being new in this space in 2026 is not the disadvantage most people think it is, and in some specific ways is actually an advantage over artists who've been doing this for a decade. Third, I'm going to give you a concrete entry strategy, not generic advice like build your portfolio and post consistently. A specific sequence path that takes you from where you are right now to your first real paying clients in this niche, without needing a massive reputation or years of experience to get there. And at the end, I'm going to point you toward the one thing that will determine more than anything else whether you make it in this space. And it's probably not what you think it is. Fair warning, this video is going to challenge some assumptions you might be holding. Stay with me because the payoff is worth it. Before we get into the strategy, I want to share something that reframed this entire topic for me. I started thinking about which product visualization artists are actually thriving right now. Not surviving, not grinding, but genuinely building sustainable businesses with real clients and real rates. And I looked at what they had in common. And here's what was strange. It wasn't the ones with the most technically impressive work. It wasn't the ones with the biggest social following. It wasn't even the ones who'd been doing this the longest. The artists consistently winning new clients and commanding serious rates had something else going on. Something I almost missed because it's subtle. It's not a software skill, it's not a stylistic thing, and it has nothing to do with how many hours they put into Blender or Keyshot or Cinema 4D. And when I figured out what it was, it made complete sense. But it also explained why so many talented artists with incredible portfolios are completely invisible to the clients who could actually pay them. I'll get there. But first, let me give you the full picture of where this market actually stands, because that context makes everything else land properly. Let's start with facts. Global e-commerce is not slowing down. It is still growing year over year across every major market. And every single product being sold online needs visual representation. Photography, video, or CGI. Something has to show the customer what they're buying. Now here's where it gets interesting for us. Traditional product photography has real constraints. You need a physical prototype. You need a studio. You need a photographer, a stylist, lighting equipment. You need to schedule, ship, shoot, retouch. For a brand launching a new product with 15 colorways across 8 variants, that's an enormous logistical and financial undertaking. CGI solves most of those problems. No prototype needed for pre-launch marketing. Infinite colorways from a single model. Perfect lighting every time. Revisions without reshoots. The brand can market the product before it physically exists. This is not a new idea. Large brands have been doing it for years. But here's what's changed. The threshold of brand size that finds CGI cost-effective has dropped dramatically. It used to be that only major brands with massive production budgets could justify CGI. Now, because software has become more accessible, because render times have dropped, because there's a growing pool of skilled artists, Mid-sized brands, DTC startups, independent product designers, small consumer goods companies. All of them are starting to use CGI for their product marketing. That expanding middle market is where the opportunity lives for new artists. You don't need to land Nike or Apple. You need to land the premium candle brand, the boutique skincare line, the independent furniture maker, the tech accessory startup. Those clients exist in enormous numbers, and many of them are actively looking for capable artists they can afford and build a relationship with. The market is not shrinking, it is democratizing, and that is genuinely good news for someone starting out right now. Here's the assumption I want to challenge directly. Most new artists think experience is the primary currency in this market. That clients are essentially buying your track record, your years in the industry, your roster of past brand names, your decades of accumulated technique. And if you don't have that, you're at the back of a very long queue. That's partially true, but it misses something important. What clients in the mid-market are actually buying is confidence. Confidence that you understand their product, their brand, their customer. Confidence that the process of working with you will be smooth and professional. Confidence that the final result will do the job it needs to do, which is make someone want to buy the thing. Experience is one way to signal that confidence, but it's not the only way. A new artist who deeply understands a specific product category, who knows the materials, the aesthetics, the market, the customer psychology, can signal confidence just as effectively as a veteran generalist. Because specialization communicates, I know this world, in a way that a general portfolio of impressive but varied work doesn't. This is where being new actually becomes an advantage in a specific way. You have no bad habits yet. You're not attached to old workflows. You can go deep on current tools, current render engines, current aesthetics, without the inertia of this is how I've always done it. And you can specialize from day one in a way that most experienced generalists find psychologically difficult, because it feels like leaving work on the table. Pick a product category you genuinely find interesting. Cosmetics, consumer electronics, furniture and homeware, food and beverage packaging, sneakers and apparel accessories, sporting goods. Go deep on that category. Understand the brands, the visual language, the way products in that space are typically presented, and build every piece of your portfolio around it. You will be more attractive to clients in that category than a veteran who's done a bit of everything, because you look like you speak their language. And to a client, that matters enormously. Okay, here's the concrete path. Step by step, no vagueness. Step 1. Build 3 anchor pieces in your chosen category. Not 10, not 20, 3, and make them exceptional. These are not rushed portfolio fillers. These are deliberate, fully realized product renders that demonstrate you understand the aesthetic language of your niche at a high level. Study the brands in your category. Look at how they photograph their products. The angles, the lighting mood, the surface materials, the props and context, the negative space. Your CGI should feel like it belongs in that visual world, not like a technically impressive render dropped into the wrong universe. Spend real time on these 3 pieces. If it takes you 2 months to make 3 renders you're genuinely proud of, that is not wasted time. That is your entire entry ticket. Step 2. Document your process publicly. While you're building those 3 pieces, share the journey. Not finished renders. Process. Wireframes. Lighting tests. Material experiments. A 60-second time lapse of your scene setup. A before and after showing a render at 2 hours versus 12 hours of refinement. This does 2 things simultaneously. It builds an audience of fellow artists who follow your progress, which creates social proof. And it demonstrates your thinking process to potential clients who happen to see it, which builds trust before they've ever spoken to you. You are not just making renders. You are making visible evidence that you are serious, process-oriented, and improving in real time. That is a compelling thing to witness. Step 3. Go where your clients are, not where other artists are. This is the mistake that costs new artists months of wasted effort. They build their presence entirely on ArtStation and Behance, platforms full of other artists. They get feedback from artists. They get inspired by artists. And they wonder why no clients are reaching out. Your clients are not on ArtStation. They're on LinkedIn. They're in DTC brand communities. They're in product design forums. They're in e-commerce Facebook groups where brand founders talk about their challenges. They're at trade shows for their specific product category. Go there, not to advertise, to be genuinely present and useful. Answer questions about visual presentation. Comment on brand launches with an informed perspective. Share your process content in spaces where brand owners might actually see it. One comment that demonstrates real understanding of a brand's visual challenge, in a space where that brand's marketing manager is also present, is worth more than 100 posts on ArtStation. Step 4. Offer a low-risk first engagement. For a new artist without a client list, the biggest obstacle is not price. It's perceived risk. A brand that's never worked with you doesn't know if you'll deliver on time, communicate professionally, or produce work that actually fits their aesthetic. So reduce that risk for them. Offer a tightly scoped, fixed deliverable first project. 2 hero renders of their product. Clear timeline. Clear revision policy. Clear deliverable. Make the decision to try you feel small and safe because the downside if it doesn't work is minimal. But the upside if it does is a potential long-term relationship. Most new artists go and try to land big projects immediately. The smarter move is to land a first project that leads to a second and a third and a referral. Small beginnings with the right client compound into serious income faster than one big win followed by silence. Step 5. Treat every client like a case study in waiting. From your very first paid project, document everything with the client's permission, before and after, brief to final result. A short written breakdown of the creative decisions you made and why. This becomes the most powerful portfolio content you will ever create because it shows real work for a real brand with a real outcome. That is categorically more compelling to a new potential client than the most technically impressive spec work in the world. Okay, I promised you the thing that actually separates the artists who make it from the ones who don't. And it's not technical skill. It's not software knowledge. It's not even a strategy one just laid out, though that matters. It's patience with the compounding curve. Here's the truth about building a client base from scratch in any creative field. The first 3 months feel like nothing is working. You're putting in real effort and seeing almost no return. The next 3 months feel slightly better, but still discouraging. And then somewhere around month 6 to 12, if you've been consistent and strategic, things start to compound. A client refers you to someone. A piece of process content gets shared into a community. Someone who saw your work 6 months ago finally has a project and reaches out. The compounding curve is real, but you have to survive long enough to reach it. The artists who fail in this space almost universally quit before the compounding starts. They try the strategy for 6 weeks, decide it's not working, pivot to something else, and reset the clock to 0. Over and over. The artists who make it are not necessarily more talented. They are more patient. They trust the process long enough to let it work. That's the thing. And it's genuinely the hardest thing. Because creative work is emotionally demanding and delayed validation is painful. But knowing that the curve exists, knowing that the quiet period is part of the process and not evidence that you've failed, that knowledge is what lets you push through it. So now you have the strategy, the market context, the entry path, the mindset. But here's the thing I haven't addressed yet. And it's the question I get more than almost any other when I talk to new artists about product viz specifically. What does a high-quality product render actually require? Like technically, what's the difference between a render that lands a client and one that looks almost right, but somehow misses? Because this is the gap that's hard to articulate. Most new artists can feel when something isn't working in their render. The lighting feels flat. The materials look plasticky. The composition feels off. But they can't diagnose why. And without the diagnosis, the improvement is slow and frustrating. In my next video, I'm going to break down exactly that. The specific technical and artistic decisions that separate a product render that makes someone want to buy the thing from one that just looks like a competent 3D exercise. Lighting logic, material depth, camera, and composition language. The stuff that the best product viz artists do almost instinctively that nobody ever really explains clearly. If you're actively working on product viz right now, or planning to, that video is going to be genuinely useful in a practical, immediate way. So let's close this out. Yes, there is absolutely still hope for new 3D product visualization artists in 2026. The market is growing in the places that matter for you. Being new is a disadvantage that specialization and strategy can close faster than you think. And the path, build anchor pieces, document publicly, go where clients are, reduce their risk, treat every project as a case study. That path is available to you right now, today, regardless of where you are in your skill development. The only real question is whether you'll stay in it long enough for the compounding to kick in. If this video gave you a clearer picture of what's actually possible, subscribe. Everything I'm making is built for artists who are serious about turning 3D into a real career, not just a hobby with expensive software. Hit the bell for the next video because the technical breakdown of what makes a product render actually work is something you're going to want to watch with your software open. And drop a comment right now. What product category are you thinking about specializing in? Or what's the thing that's been holding you back from committing to one? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know where you're at. See you in the next one.